What up, what up, what up? This is Merrick, representing Hustlenomics, LLC. And this is episode number 11 of the podcast.
Yes.
And today, I'm with my co-host with the most, Terrence Rice. What's going on, babe?
Man, what's up, Merrick? How you living?
I'm living beautifully, larger than charged, dog.
Man, you always looking like money, man. Looking like money on the way, man.
Looking like a bag of money.
Hey, we got somebody special here, man. Person boots on the ground, hustling, man. Hustling and figuring it out, man. On the journey just like us, man. My man Jacob, man.
Yep, 𝐥𝐤𝐤, full name. Jacob makes it happen on Instagram. Check it out.
So let's get into it, man. So I just started off. How'd you stumble into real estate? What was your journey like?
Well, man, whenever I was growing up, they always asked me, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" I said, "I want to be an artist." They asked me again. I said, "I want to be rich." And they said, "How?" I said, "Real estate." And they were like, "Okay."
So you're going to be an artist who gets rich in real estate?
Maybe I'll make some artistic marketing or something.
Maybe.
Yeah. Shit, I don't even know, to be honest. Oh, man, I got to keep it PG.
It's cool.
I'm sorry.
We'll edit it out.
Yeah, it's not cool to cuss. Yeah. But yeah, whenever I first got started, I was 22. I was a bouncer over in Washington Avenue. The reason I got that job is I was trying to follow my passions. I love the 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞 experience.
Yeah.
And they had one of the partners over at the bar that I ended up working at. They said, "Hey, we're opening up a bar. Come apply." I said, "Okay, great." And so I went down. I got the job. And I wanted to be a bartender originally. They stuck me as security, and it was a good gig. I met some great people over there, but that led to real estate because my manager told me to read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I said, "Okay, that sounds good." And man, that book just set my soul on fire. So I read it all in a day. It was really good, and I was driving into work the next day. I heard an ad for a 3-day seminar for real estate.
Yeah.
And so, called it, got the tickets, told my buddy, brought him, he brought his buddy. We went to the 3-day seminar. I knew we were going to win because, every day in those seminars, there's less and less people. We stayed the entire way because that's what we do. And then the next day we started an LLC. I didn't really know what I was doing. I had my buddy, he's much smarter than me. I had him file the LLC. And so they did that. And we were just looking for deals in the MLS, trying to make it happen. And what was our first deal? Our first deal was from an FSBO.
So wait. Let's get back because I want to make sure I capture what kind of real estate class was it? Was it about wholesaling?
Yeah, it was about wholesaling. It was about
Gotcha.
investing. It was the Groves. It was Phil and Chenoa Grove. They said, with marketing, there's no silver bullet. There's everything works. That was their whole point. So, yeah, me and my buddy used to crack up about that all the time.
So how'd y'all? So you filed the LLC with the intention of doing what?
Just doing deals, man. We're just trying to do deals. We're going to get in with wholesaling and just be as rich as possible. To 100 million, 200 million. I would always think about that. We were crazy, man. I would think to myself, okay, how can I get as rich as possible immediately? And then I just make that decision, and we go do it, and we do it again, and again, and again.
So y'all end up doing deals. So what was your first deal, and what was the process like?
Yeah, it was. So we were driving for dollars. We heard about that process. The driving for dollars process is this: you have an area where you're interested in buying some property. And you comb the area, just drive up and down the street, take note of abandoned or vacant property. And then, you can, you note the address down, right? Address 123 Main Street, right? You go in your local county appraisal district, you type in the address in the appraisal district, 123 Main Street. You get the owner's name, you go on truepeoplesearch.com, and then you go and you do reverse address search. It's easy to find if you go on the website. You type in the address, press enter. Maybe a dozen names will pop up. You look on the CAD. You note the name of the owner. And then of the dozen, one will be the owner. You click the number, or you click that profile. There's 5 or 6 numbers that come up.
Yeah.
Just dial them all.
So you're a hustler.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
So what happened?
Thank you so
'Cause
much.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't easy. One, sometimes those numbers don't work. So if you're really motivated, you got to find those people. So did you encounter a lane that way? And then 2, where was I going? Oh, to get the deal, to do all of that, is a process. But I guess can you start and express about, have you encountered where you didn't get in contact with somebody, and then you actually got the deal?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a numbers game. By the end of it, we got to have faith in the numbers, and that's how it works. Because we know if we make, everyone has their own metrics, right? And we all know our own metrics by actually, taking action and recording our results, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, maybe if we make 100 dials on True People Search, that we might contact 10 homeowners, right? Of the 10 homeowners, which one do we catch at a good time where they're actually interested in being receptive? And of those people who you contact who are receptive, which ones do you not fumble over your words and you actually sound really good?
Right.
So it's a numbers game.
Yeah, it's 100% a numbers game, but it's also a conversion game. This is how I think of it, dude. Because you could call those 10 numbers, right? And, you can't just say anything, right? And people are naturally going to convert highly, or they're naturally going to convert lowly, right? Personally, I'm not a natural salesperson, right? I'll get all nervous, I'll put too much pressure on myself, and they'll be like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or they'll lose interest and they'll hang up on me. So what I got to do is I got to know that I got to study and rehearse scripts. I got to go over them over and over and over until I know them like the back of my hand, and then that's what gives me results.
Wow.
No, that's what's up. It shows that you're willing to put effort into finding deals because you're driving for dollars. Then you know that you are a natural introvert, that you're willing to learn a script so that you can be successful in converting these deals from just phone calls into houses that you get under contract, because you're wholesaling these houses. So houses that you get under contract to find a buyer. Man, I applaud your effort. But I want to know what other marketing strategies you have besides driving for dollars. What else do you do?
We did. We got a deal from what's it called? We did direct mail for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's expensive out here.
Yeah, we had a real messy direct mail deal.
What was your conversion rate on that?
I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Yeah, we didn't do too good. Yeah, after we did, I was able to get 18. I was at 13 deals done over 18 months. Right?
Okay.
But it was all right. But I had a bunch of flaws to my character that I'm in the process of ironing out.
Definitely.
That was one of the issues. I didn't even know my own numbers on the direct mail.
Yeah.
Right. But in basics, it's just direct mail, and so you buy the list. Right. There might be 5,000 numbers, or 5,000 addresses. Excuse me. And you got to make sure that they have equity, right? If that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for an all cash wholesale deal, if you're interested in an all cash wholesale deal, you should probably be marketing to properties with equity in them.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Talk about the different strategies of wholesaling. So people got different strategies: tax lien, divorce, equity. Like what do you see that's like for a wholesaler?
Yeah, wholesaling at its most basic is you have a purchase contract. It could be on anything, and then you sell your position in a purchase contract. So, for example, let's say we have a media company. Terrence, you have an incredible setup over here. Terrence, I'd like to purchase your cameras for $1,500, or I hope for $1,500, right? I'll give you the money next week. We'll do it at Applebee's, and it'll be great. And then I say, well, I know my other buddy. He's also interested in cameras. So I call him up and I say, hey man, I got a wonderful set of cameras here. I got a Sony, 2 Sony cameras. I'll sell them to you for $2,000. Is that something you're interested in? And they'll say, heck yeah, $2,000. That's a great deal. And so, you go there with your buddy, exchange cash, handshake. So that's a wholesale deal. So how does that apply to real estate? Well, so we're in Texas, right? So we can just use a TREC, 9-page, or I think it's a 10-page form now. All right. And I'm not a realtor or lawyer, so I'm definitely not giving legal advice or anything like that. But in theory, any contract is assignable, right? So let's say we have, so we'll go through the whole process again. So we get the list, right? We skip trace them. We cold call them. We set the appointment. They're motivated. We say, hey, we can get you the money in 14 days. Okay, great. We have a purchase contract.
Oh, you had a 14 days, so you was hustling.
Yeah.
So you had buyers like that then.
Well, no, I had faith that there are a lot of buyers on Facebook, and I had.
So you're finding these buyers on Facebook?
Yeah, I didn't.
Jesus.
A lot of people reverse wholesale. I never reversed wholesaled.
What does reverse wholesale mean?
Reverse wholesale is when you start with step one is find a motivated buyer
Okay.
and find out what their criteria is. And then once you know what their criteria is, you purchase a list based off their criteria. So you can go into the process knowing you already have a buyer.
Yeah, I'd rather already have a buyer.
Yeah.
But then it's
Maybe
not
it's for you
hard
then.
though. It's a lot. If you got a deal, someone will buy that. You just gotta have a deal.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
And you gotta
what's
find
funny, dude?
find them though.
I don't know
but-
if you've read this
yeah.
book. It's called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
No.
Whenever someone says you're right, that means you don't get it and you're right. Shut up. That's what that means. So
No,
you-
I actually meant he's right.
yeah, well, you are right, but what?
But yeah, I
That's
get
a
what
good
you're
book,
saying.
though.
I have done that before.
That's a good book though. I
Yeah.
like that book.
I agree. Yeah, we can use that in negotiations with sellers a lot because like if we're trying to empathize with them, and we're trying because Pace Morby, I got this from Pace Morby. He said a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still, right? So
Have you read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People?
definitely,
It says that in there as well.
yeah, maybe
That's
where
why
I
it
got
says never argue with people.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Interesting.
No, a lot of psychological kind of trying to understand people, especially in wholesaling. You're not really trying to just sway people out of there. Some people do. Ideally, I look at it as trying to help them, benefit from their situation. Because it's people with tax liens that literally is going to lose their home or different types of situation, and then, if they don't get out of this situation, they can lose more than what they can gain from a wholesaler.
See, but
absolutely
Terrence, you're thinking practically. You're thinking like an investor and a practical human being. Some people have their emotions just so attached to the house that they just are like, man, I'm going to just go down with the ship.
Yeah.
So
And just give it away.
Yeah.
Don't get nothing.
Yeah.
So,
some people are going to
But-
just make that decision.
you got tactics, man. So,
Yeah, I mean, they
what-
don't always work. Like I remember, I was talking to this guy who was going to foreclosure, and he had his emotions 100% wrapped up in his property. He couldn't
I can
talk
believe
about
you.
it. He couldn't talk about it without screaming and crying.
Oh, he
And
was
I didn't know
sad
how to
that he
talk
was
him down.
losing.
He was crazy, dude.
What
I believe
happened? What happened with that situation? Like, how was he? Like, he had taxes,
Well,
right?
first of all, it was my fault because I didn't prepare enough before the appointment.
It was in
And,
person or over phone?
And if someone else was more skilled, they probably they could have been able to get the deal. But it was in person, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just remember vividly, like I was at the door, and I was talking to him, and I was trying to convince this guy, like, hey, like, if you want to stop this foreclosure, then you need to file for bankruptcy. And he just wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. And I just remember him like he was crying like a toddler. Yeah, and once that happened, I didn't know how to deal with it, and I just got in my car and I left. But I felt so bad because this guy, he just had this like tree falling on him. I couldn't convince him how to like just move.
That was his only option. You couldn't find like a cash buyer to, he didn't have enough equity. What was the deal like?
Well, man, I don't even remember. But the whole point was he wasn't even like I couldn't even get him open to hearing any of those options. You know what I mean?
He was just like, I'm stuck. I lost it. I don't know what to do. Like,
Yeah, because
It wasn't
remember what I said whenever, like, going back to the numbers, if we talk to 10 homeowners, which ones are going to be open to receiving information?
right.
Someone would rather just lose the house.
Yep.
That's insane to me, but I believe you. I've never,
It's insane to everybody.
yeah.
So what's some other stories that you got? I know you got a couple that just resonates with you. Like, this is a learning point for me.
Man,
What was the hardest deal that you got done that took the most effort? What happened with that one?
well, I remember probably the biggest deal that I did. I remember I was getting out of the car to go and sit with my family, and I got a phone call that our buyer had backed out of the deal right before.
Were you at title when this happened?
Yeah, the deal was in title. We were still looking for a buyer. Felt like I had adrenaline dump for the entire for the entire dinner. I was like a ghost sitting there.
So what you had a couple of days to close, or what happened?
That one, I don't remember the details of it because I was partying a lot back then. Yeah, but it was a longer close. It was like 30, 60-day close, something like that.
Right.
But it was fun afterwards. We had like $64,000 in cash. We
So
held it
what happened?
up to our ear.
You said 64,000?
Yeah, pretend to be Johnny Manziel. That was
My
when he was
man. That's what's up.
Oh, not Johnny, man.
popping. Yeah.
Hey,
So
man,
what-
Johnny Manziel
what
was the
happened?
man.
What happened though? You ended up finding another buyer, or he came through?
Yeah, we ended up finding a buyer. because we co-wholesaled it. So we assigned the contract to another person who
Another
then
wholesaler.
assigned the contract to the end buyer.
Right.
I don't even know the whole details on that. Like
got
how it
the
went
deal
down,
done.
but it funded
Yeah. So how
Fair
did you
enough.
how did you split the partnership with the other wholesaler?
incorrectly. I did it incorrectly.
What's incorrectly?
We went in and we had we had one LLC. Each person was an equal partner, 33% partner. I don't know if you've ever done like a school project where one person like does all the work, but there was a lot of feelings like that. If I could go back, I think joint venture is the way to go. Joint venture, deal to deal, is the way to go.
Why is joint venture superior in your opinion?
Well, just because over the course of one transaction, it's just better that way, because that way you can split up the money, by every sale.
By effort.
Yeah, because I
But-
just think it's better that way.
So what happened? You had, I mean, let's get into it. You had someone that you was working with that didn't do nothing, right?
Well,
Or
we were all working. We were all working really hard. We were all working as hard as we could,
right.
and it just didn't go well, dude. It didn't go well. But why didn't it go well? Well, this is a story I tell myself. It's because I wasn't bringing enough deals in, and so we ended up closing. We ended up closing that business after 18 months, and I said, okay, well, why didn't we succeed? Well, I was partying too much, and I didn't know how to sell. So, cleaned myself up. I went to rehab. I quit partying all the time. And how do you learn to do something? By doing the thing. So I got door-to-door sales job. I did 2,400 doors.
I respect the
selling
hustle,
cable
man.
in 3 months.
One thing is fixing your life, man. You was real with yourself to understand that, hey, like, it was my fault. Like, you took ownership in that and made a pivot on that. And then you gave yourself the opportunity to build the skills that you knew that you lacked, as well as cleaned up some of the things that you wanted to do. So I commend you from that. But yeah, man. So how did you see the opportunity to? Okay, I'm bad at sales. Let me go get a sales job. I mean, was it some thought behind there, or you just?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, man, I just knew that if I want to get better at anything, I got to do the thing, and then after I do the thing, I reflect and I say, okay, what could I have done better?
Right.
And then I apply it as best I can the next time, right?
Right.
And just do that over and over and over again. And that works to a certain extent, but what really has worked for me, like in sales, and I'm still getting better, because at first I was selling cable door to door, 2,400 doors, 3 months, one sale, or no, it was like 3 weeks or something like that. But I got let go due to non-performance, right?
You said 3 weeks you had one sale?
Yeah,
Hey man, you didn't quit. They let you go.
man,
That's what's
That's
up though.
crazy.
yeah. I had some ego problems. That was before I went to rehab. We had a little yelling match with the boss, but
Oh.
yeah, but yeah.
No, you working and growing, man. Life is a process.
Yeah.
It's a journey. And look where you at now, and look where you want to go. You said bigger and bigger.
Yeah, so now
So where we at?
I'm getting back in the game. I specialize in dispositioning people's deals. So I, build a relationship with wholesalers. I tell my story, support them when I can, where I can, and then once they get their deals into the contract, then I can bring their buyers, because I have a good network from my years when I was working. I still talk to those people all the time. They're great people. There's a wonderful real estate network here in Houston. It's very, very family oriented, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like a family, and they're just great people out there, So that's where I am now.
Yeah, definitely. I can respect it.
Thank
But
you.
you
man.
had that experience of going through the process.
I got
life,
deals closed, man.
and
I got
then
deals
it's like,
closed.
all right,
13
cool.
wholesale deals.
Like, what's
Yep.
the big goal? What's the grand goal of doing the disposition? How do you want to scale that to get into your end goal? Because they often say wholesale is not it, So eventually you do want to buy and hold. I'm not sure if that's a strategy, but do you got any other plans?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, it's just one deal at a time.
Okay.
It's one deal at a time, but working a bunch of deals at one time, because if a deal from first contact cash out. Maybe it's 30 or 90 days, right? Maybe you have 3 or 4 conversations with the person, before the contract actually happens. I think that's about how it works in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that's a good question, man. I haven't really. I know like way far ahead what I want. What I want way far ahead is I want to have like a big bomb ass funeral with like all my family there, and I'll have like a whole bunch, like hundreds of people there.
We're all gonna die.
So you want the funeral?
We are gonna
But I'm
die.
talking about why you still alive. What's your long-term investment goals? Like you're wholesaling now. Do you ever want to do buying holes? Do you ever want to do flips? Do you ever want to do new construction? Do you ever want to get your wholesale business automated? Like where do you see your business in 5 years?
Man, automated is good. I definitely see it automated. I see myself having a bunch of VAs, right?
Okay.
I have them. I see them with custom SOPs, right? I see myself making payroll every week, every 2 weeks, and I think a lot of money can be made with a really small team.
I believe you.
Yeah,
I believe you.
Yeah, a lot of money can be made with a really small team, and one person just going out and really, putting the pedal to the metal when it comes to work can make a lot of money in this business. Mm-hmm. So I'm really focused on getting to that point and being that person, and then I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of freaking opportunities once that actually happens. So, but yeah, of course, I want to invest in things, right? Because what is an asset? That's what in Rich Dad Poor Dad it says. Rich people buy assets. Assets are something that you buy that pays you, right? And to start with rental property, it's one of the easiest things to run numbers on, right? There's mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, and you just add all that together, right? Subtract it from whatever the rental comps are in the area, right? As long as there's a few $100 spread, then that's going to be a good purchase for somebody. Right. Whether it's me or an end buyer, if I'm wholesaling. Yeah.
No, that's what's up. You
Yeah.
gotta hustle, man. Mm-hmm. I'm just happy to just be around you and you getting into it, because we're getting into it, and so we need that energy. One thing, someone I was studying the other day, and they were like, "Oh, Pace." I was listening to Pace again, and he was
he's the real deal.
"Yeah, LOC, all this. You need all this to kind of get set up." But the last one that resonated was having a community. So I'm glad we are a part of one community now, and we're planning to grow to make our millions, to get our first properties, to see the journey. And yeah, man, we out here, man. And guess what? You're on the Hustlenomics podcast.
True. Over 3,600 subscribers.
We all about the hustling.
Nice.
We all about the hustle. So yeah,
right.
America, I turn it over to you, man.
Man, I'm
Living.
I'm blessed that you came out tonight, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, dude.
Dude, it was an honor.
Yeah.
This is
Mutual.
right on. This is episode number 11 of the Hustlenomics podcast. This is Merrick signing out. Peace.
We out of here. Peace.